Hello, dear friends. No one can say I didn't know. Truth was clearly stated, and many despised it. Opinion piece. Endgame. Basel-4 and Gold. Recognizes precious metal. Global economic change. New Ascension Society. Separating facts from fiction. Let's start. The so-called Endgame or Game Over. Basel 3. Basel 3.1 or Basel 4 are changes in the rules global standards for capital requirements that modify international banking standards known as the Basel Accords. The fundamental review of the trading book and the completion of post-crisis reforms are sometimes called Basel 4, but the Basel Committee refers to only three agreements. Basel 4 is the informal name for a set of banking reforms that are based on the international banking agreements known as Basel 1, 2, and 3. It begins its implementation on January 1st, 2023, although its full adoption is expected to last until 2025, and implementation stages vary according to each country. It is expected to take 5 years to be fully implemented. Speculation. In recent months, there has been a lot of confusion and speculation surrounding the relationship between Basel III Accords and gold. Many have mistakenly believed that Basel III establishes currencies backed by gold. This is not true according to Awaken 3D. It is crucial to separate fact from fiction and understand the true implications of Basel III on gold. Basel III, developed by the Basel Committee on Banking Supervision, is a framework of rules designed to strengthen and safeguard the global banking system, although it would be impossible to safeguard the system under the current fiat currency debt method. The main objective of Basel III is to ensure that banks hold sufficient capital to protect themselves against risk and unexpected losses, as was the case during the great financial crisis of 2008. Although Basel III recognizes the value and stability of gold, it does not establish currencies backed by gold, as some have erroneously claimed. Instead, it recognizes gold as a valuable and reliable asset that banks can hold as part of their capital reserve. Under the new regulations, gold is classified as a Tier 1 asset. In banking, Level 1 assets are considered high quality, liquid assets that can be held by banks to meet regulatory stability requirements. By assigning higher value to gold in their capital calculations, banks can hold more gold as part of their capital reserve. In simpler terms, it means that gold is seen as a valuable and reliable asset that banks can rely on to meet financial security standards. Importantly, the reclassification of gold under Basel III does not mean that currencies can be converted directly into physical gold at the bank, as was the case during the gold standard era. Basel III does not establish gold-backed currencies or a new gold standard. The gold standard involved a direct link between currency and a fixed amount of physical gold. However, Basel III treats gold as a financial asset within the banking system, highlighting its importance in capital calculation and risk management. While some may speculate on the possible implication for gold of the Basel III Accords, it is essential to understand that the focus is on banking regulations, not monetary policy. The reclassification of gold under Basel III primarily affects the way banks assess and manage their capital reserves in an effort to promote stability and resilience. The impact of Basel 3 on gold is within the banking sector, reinforcing its importance as a financial asset. Understanding the nuances of Basel III and its regulations to gold is crucial to dispelling misconceptions so we can have informed discussions about the future of banking regulations and gold's role in the landscape of a global financial reset. Definition: Basel III is a set of international banking regulatory standards developed by the Basel Committee on Banking Supervision. This commission is an entity formed by the central banks and regulatory authorities of the member countries of the Bank for International Settlements. Basel III was developed in response to lessons learned during the global financial crisis of 2007 and 8. Basel III was published in November 2010, and its introduction was planned between 2013 and 15. However, the application was repeatedly extended until January 1st, 2022, and then again until January 1st, 2023, in the wake of the health crisis. The Basel Committee of Banking Supervision is a group of banking supervisory authorities that was established by the central bank governors of the G10 countries in 1974. The committee expanded its participants in 2009 and then again in 2014. Starting as of 2019, it has 45 members from 28 jurisdictions, including central banks and authorities responsible for banking regulation. Basel III is a framework that sets international standards for bank capital adequacy, stress testing, and liquidity requirements. Expanding and replacing part of the Basel II standards, it was developed in response to weaknesses in financial regulations and aims to strengthen bank capital requirements by increasing minimum capital requirements, holdings of high-quality liquid assets, and reducing the banking leverage. Americas. The US government prints 756 million new $50 bills as some citizens begin to hold cash, not crash. American oil fields are at their maximum to lower the price. Global inflation will be higher in 2024 due to excess oil supplies. Brazil joins an OPEC Plus that will subtract 2 million barrels per day in 2024. Mysterious voids appear in the sky over South America. Spain. Spain will be at risk of blackouts until 2030. It depends on gas plants to guarantee supply. Spain multiplies its purchase of Russian liquefied natural gas by 6 in 2023. PSOE and Jantz choose to Salvadoran diplomat Francisco Galindo Vélez as international verifier. Actress Concha Velasco dies at age 84. The Yeye girl who wanted to be an artist and took over cinema, theater, and television. According to her son, Sean Connery, Harrison Ford, and Russell Crowe were her three platonic loves, a Sagittarius who pursued the dream of being loved by everyone and achieved it. I wish her to go to heaven. Solar wind. The Space Weather Prediction Center issued a G3 level geomagnetic storm alert for a strong solar event that impacted Earth this Friday, causing an increase in the visibility of northern lights. A huge hole has opened in the Sun's atmosphere and is directly in front of the Earth. The solar wind flowing from the hole will reach our planet on December 4th or 5th. Its arrival should cause geomagnetic storms. Reset News. The secret society of the new Ascension for all beings is now completely open. According to Geistaller, Gisera is not just a plan, it is a paradigm shift, a ray of hope in a world plagued by inequality and corruption. It is the promise of a new dawn, a world where justice, peace, and prosperity are not just ideals but realities. The truth is out there, and it's time for the world to accept it, but I don't expect it until 2026. Bilderberg meeting of 1992. In quotes, the only thing that every human being fears is the unknown. When presented with this scenario, individual rights are voluntarily renounced in exchange for the guarantee of their well-being granted to them by their world government. Close quotes. Daily message from Keshe. In this change, you are going through a rebirth. With this rebirth comes a new mind, a new body, a new level of consciousness, and completely new reality. All of these changes must occur and be felt internally before being seen and manifested in the outside world. Now is the time to realize that all of the above is in your energy field, in your DNA. Breathe, feel, commit to the change, and watch yourself transform into your fifth dimensional self. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.